My name is Deb Rodak. I'm with the Chicago Architecture Foundation, and I work as a youth education docent and also in the youth education department. And I get to introduce this model to all sorts of school groups and camp groups that come to take field trips with us. Right now, the major way we use the model is as an introduction before every field trip. We spend 5 to 15 minutes with each group, depending on how bad their traffic was coming in, talking about the model before they begin their field trip. Our field trips are about 90 minutes long, and they go out and walk around the city, but this helps them understand the space they're going to walk around before they walk around it. Student groups and teachers, this is one of those elephant in the room kind of things. If we didn't take the time to talk about this, we would have to walk all of the kids right past it into a room right over here, and you can't do it. If they see it, they need to find out more about it. It's a magnet, so we had to come up with a real short pattern that we can expand when we have students who have more time. From looking at the model, the thing that students and adults alike have really grasped that I'm finding most Chicagoans don't understand is the way the river moves through our city. Most people don't really understand that it goes in for a mile to 2 miles and then splits, and there's a big split, and so there's river that's running south all of a sudden on the backside of the loop. And most people kind of have never been able to put that together, and this model shrinks down their world so they can see everything happening at once, and they can get the relationship of the water to the land in our city. We've had a lot of surprising things. One of the most surprising was we have this mammoth, impressive model that we talk about and that in general the kids really love. But if you can follow me a little bit, there's a smaller model over here of a neighborhood, and one day we had a group who actually was from that neighborhood. And once they realized the buildings on that small model were buildings in their neighborhood, they did not care about this anymore. They were over here saying, why do we have this, and what story is it trying to tell? And it's trying to tell a story of an area that's being redeveloped that really needed some more money and efforts put into that neighborhood. And it was also interesting, there's 2 areas that aren't depicted on this small model. I don't know what's happening in those 2 areas. I haven't been to that neighborhood. Many of the kids didn't know what was happening in those 2 areas either. All they knew was, my mom doesn't let us go in that part of the neighborhood. It was a very interesting observation. So one of my favorite things about the model is that people always ask us if this is all of Chicago or not. And we have to explain to them that this is only 40 blocks downtown. We have a large map of Chicago on one of the boards on the side, and we can show them this is all of Chicago, and this model is this little chunk right here.
My name is Gregory Dreiser. I'm Vice President of Interpretation and Exhibitions at the Chicago Architecture Foundation. Around 3 years ago, we're now in 2011, we were thinking about how we would help celebrate the Burnham Plant Centennial. And we knew that in China, in many major cities in China, including Beijing and Shanghai, they have urban centers which are actually built around incredible models of the city. And Mayor Daley had seen these models and loved them, and Lynn Osmond, the director of CAF, the Chicago Architecture Foundation, had also seen these models and wanted to have it in Chicago. And so as I was developing the concept for our Burnham Year project, I wanted to look at Chicago as a model city, a city that was a prototype or model for developing parts of the urban environment that were known throughout the world. And so I realized, model city should have an incredible model for people to see and help them understand the city. This model was supposed to be up here on display for about maybe half a year. And it has proven so popular that we simply can't take it away. The public won't let us remove it. And so we have several plans in mind. First, of course, we're going to continue to upgrade and update the model because it needs to be 100% accurate. Second, we're working on a plan to bring in individuals, nonprofit, for-profit organizations to help us devise interactives or ways to engage people, not only in the downtown area, because the model right now focuses on the loop, but actually to look at the neighborhoods as well. And actually part of our plans long-term for the model are to produce other models at bigger scale, which would mean showing neighborhoods at bigger scale, and then smaller scale to have regional models. Another project that I'm just beginning to develop is to figure out a way to combine the social networks that are out there that everyone is participating in and the data networks that you keep hearing about, where every single aspect of city life is being monitored, and combine them with our physical model as well as our 3D digital model, which exists out there and which we're not really using right now. Combine those all together to provide an experience here at the Chicago Architecture Foundation when you're on the street with your mobile device or even at home. So those are our plans for the future. It's hard for me to pick one favorite part of the model, but I don't know if you can see, but over there's a circle, and that's actually a hole. That's where Calatrava's spire was supposed to be built, and that's a project that probably will not be realized. But actually, with the developer, we built a scale model to fit into our model. And when you see that spire in place, you really understand how tall it was supposed to be. It's something that you really can't get in any other way. In fact, Mayor Daley was here a year or two ago, and we put the model in place for him. And I think that even he was a little surprised to see how tall that building was really supposed to be. So I think that, it's a great way. The model is supposed to serve as a platform for people to explore, think about what a city or what Chicago might be, and that's an example of how our model does that.